Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to build the ultimate customer journey to attract, convert, and retain customers in your business. But before we go there, are you ready for what we are about to unleash and launch on you over the next coming months? You see, our new groundbreaking training platform, secret community, and events calendar is almost ready to go live. And inside our new groundbreaking platform, you're going to get access to all the mentoring, coaching and training on all aspects of your trades and construction business so you can achieve time and financial freedom. Now, the only way you're going to get an invitation to join us is by adding yourself to our priority waiting list, and the link to add yourself is in the comments and the show notes and description of this episode. So click the link, add yourself to the waiting list, and then we will send you an invitation to become one of the 100 founding members when we launch. Now, let's transition over to this week's coaching episode. As a business owner, I think one of the biggest concerns I've had over the years, and I'm sure you've had yourself, is have I got enough leads coming into my business to keep me or my team busy? And business owners are always focusing on marketing activity to generate them the right amount of leads. And the minute the leads start to drop for whatever reason, a little bit of panic starts to set in because we start to worry about, are we going to have enough work coming in? So one of the biggest ways in which we help our Trades Freedom Club members is helping them sort out once and for all what their marketing strategy is and how they're going to attract more of their most profitable customers and clients in the highest concentration to their business. So when I say to people, right, you're struggling for leads or you're getting leads in, but you're just not converting enough, let's have a look at what's going wrong. And what I say to them is, right, tell me, show me, give me evidence of what your customer journey looks like. And if I'm being honest, most people at that point go, Craig, what do you mean by a customer journey? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean by a customer journey? It's your journey that you're going to take that person on from a lead coming in to your business, whether that's a direct message pinging in Facebook, whether that's an inquiry coming through your website or phone call or WhatsApp message or a lead coming in via email. Your lead comes in, but then you've got to get that lead all the way through all the different steps and stages, all the way to the end of the journey where the customer leaves you a glowing 5-star review, gives you a video testimonial and refers you to their contacts because they're happy with the service that you've provided. So when you look at that from a lead coming in all the way through to that video testimonial being recorded at the end of the journey, what does that look like? Where is it mapped out? What different stages have you got? What different parts of that journey have you got a strategy for? What you're working on? What's working? What's not? And when I start to explain it like this, in all honesty, most people go, do you know what, Craig? I haven't really got one. I do my marketing, leads come in, I contact customer, I'll go and look at job, I price job up, we win it, I order materials, we do job, and if I'm lucky, I'll get a review at the end, but hardly anybody leaves me reviews. And then I move on to the next customer. I'm like, right. So one, you don't have a customer journey. And two, you're focusing on constantly having to bring new business in all the time to keep you and your team going. But what if there were a way in which we could attract the right leads, convert more of them, make sure that we perhaps can add an upsell along that journey, and get a referral from them at the end of the job, and get a video testimonial from them, and get a 5-star review from them, and get repeat business from them, so that customer that you've invested time, effort and money into becomes a regular customer all the time. And when we start to look at that as a journey, sometimes we don't need any more leads. We just need more qualified leads. We need to convert more of those leads, and we need to retain as many of them customers as we can. And if we can do that, and we've got that happening on a daily, weekly, quarterly basis, our business will start to grow based on the amount of leads that we're currently attracting. And therefore, we don't necessarily have to go away spending loads of money or trying loads of other things, because what we've got doing is working. It's like a tap. We turn it on, we get leads in. When we're busy, we turn it down a bit and slow it down. And when I start to explain this, people say to me, well, how do I do it, Craig? How do I create one of these customer journeys then? What does it all look like? Well, in this episode, I'm going to give you the exact different steps that you need to put in place to make sure you've got the ultimate customer journey. And the reason why we need this is, come on, you know, in today's day and age where we've got customers that will moan and complain about the most ridiculous things and leave you a 1-star review on Google. It's like we can't afford to get many 1-star reviews on Google. Also, all that hard work that we've done for all them years in building our business, building our brand authority, can be shot down by some keyboard warrior customers leaving you stupid reviews for stupid things that half at time you haven't even done. But on the flip side of this, I know for many of you, you won't have got this customer journey nailed on, which means you've got holes in your bucket, which means you're dropping some of the plates that you're spinning with your customers. And this compounded makes your customer feel like they've been neglected, and makes your customer feel like you've not wowed them. They're not the only customer that you've got on that you're giving 100% attention to. And they start to lose a little bit of faith and a little bit of confidence in you and your business. And as soon as that starts to set in, you're going to have challenges and problems with them customers. Whether that's the relationship's going to break down, whether they start to get arsey with you, whether they don't pay you on time because they're not happy with a part of the service that you've provided. And we cannot afford that to happen in our businesses in today's day and age because there's too many keyboard warriors. Now, I believe it's 100% unacceptable in today's modern day where we've got technology, where we've got software, where we can automate this entire customer journey and experience, to have you doing things such as not answering your phone. I mean, come on. There's times where your phone will ring, and unless you've got an admin person or a VA answering it for you, you're going to look at it, you're going to be busy, you're going to be on tools, or your head's not in the right place to take that call, and you don't even answer your call. I mean, in today's day and age, customer service reckon that if you don't answer your phone within 3 rings, it's poor customer service. But for some of you, you're just letting that phone call click to your voicemail. Now, that could be a genuine lead. that you've now missed. And now they've moved on to the next person they found on Google, or the next person they've seen a 5-star review on Google My Business. And now you've lost that opportunity. I don't believe that it's acceptable for you or some of you to take 2 days to answer somebody's email or text message or WhatsApp message, and that email's been sat in your inbox for 2 days, but because you're busy and you're spinning plates, you haven't had time to answer the email. Then before you know it, your customer's emailed you again, and it's like that's twice they've emailed. Now I better contact them. And then you come up with that BS excuse. Oh, Mrs. Jones, I'm ever so sorry. Your email went into our junk folder. No, it didn't go into your junk folder. You just didn't have time to respond. Poor customer service. Or you agree on a time and a date to go to an appointment for maybe like a home survey, and you rock up 15 minutes late, blaming traffic, right? It's not acceptable. Or you're taking a week to get back to a customer with your flipping price, with your quote. I mean, in today's day and age when we've got software where you can walk around a job and price the job there and then. Oh, Mrs. Jones, can I just check your email address, please? Oh, yeah, it's this, Craig. Ping. Oh, what's that? Oh, Mrs. Jones, that's our proposal. There are terms and conditions. And that's our invoice to pay your deposit. How would you like to proceed? Why is it taking some people 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, a week to get back to customers with a quote? Now, I accept that if you're a building contractor and you're quoting an extension, it might take you a bit longer. But people like joiners, plumbers, plasterers, tilers, roofers, electricians, you could give a price there and then if you've got the systems and automation, the pricing software to do it. So why are you waiting? Why are you making your customers wait? Or you start your job, but because you are over capacity and you're over busy and you've took too much on, you're now having to pull your team off one job because you've promised a customer that they'd be on another job. And now you're leaving that customer with nobody on that job for a day or two. This is not good customer service. Or even worse, you've not set your payment schedule. You're not taking deposits. You're not taking interim payments. And there'll be people listening to this where you've actually finished a job, and at the end of the job, you're too busy to send your invoices out. You've not even sent your final invoice because you're busy. I mean, come on. All this lot is suggesting and saying to me that you haven't got a customer journey in place. And by not having an automated, systemized customer journey in place, you're offering a really poor level of service and experience to your customers. Now, some of you might say, well, actually, it's okay because I know my competitors and they're a lot worse than me. Well, listen, your customers and your future customers are not comparing you to your competitors. So if you're a heating engineer, they're not comparing you to the other 3 companies they've had out for that boiler being fixed. What they're comparing you to is the level of service and customer experience that they can get from the likes of Argos or Amazon, where if you order something at 8 o'clock in the morning, you can have it delivered same day. They've not had to speak to anyone. They've not had to deal with anyone. They can order something while they're sat on the backside on sofa. Ding dong, same day, bang, rocks up. So why do we think it's acceptable in the trades and construction industry to have this poor level of customer service, this poor level of customer journey in place? Just because we are tarnished with the unreliable brush, you know, all tradespeople are unreliable. They're always late. They're always untidy. They're always this. They're always that. No, that's a stereotypical judgment based on the people that are running the business in the wrong way. If you were to put what I'm going to share with you in place now, you wouldn't have any of that problem. And on top of all of that, you've got to bear in mind your time. And what I mean by this is, When you're not as busy, you will react a lot quicker to leads coming in. You will get that quote out a lot quicker than you would do that when you were busy. You will be able to start the job quicker than you would do when you were busy. So your level of customer service goes up a notch when you're not as busy. But then when you are busy, all that lot goes out the window because you're busy. So the busier you get without these systems and these steps and this customer journey in place, the busier you get, the more plates you start to drop, the more unhappy customers you will end up with. And in today's day and age, we cannot let that happen. So once you've put the 4 things I'm going to share with you in place, you will have a customer journey that's 5-star, 10-star for every single customer, no matter whether you're slack or you're busy. They're all going to experience a high level of customer service. So grab your notepads, grab your pens and your tablets, make notes, and let's get stuck in. So let's first of all focus on the customer journey itself. And as I've already alluded to, what we need to be thinking about with this customer journey is everything from how we attract the leads to our business in the first place. So what does that look like? Now, when the lead comes in to your business, and again, we've already said that it can come in a whole host of different ways, can't it? Email, text, website, comes in, phone call, whatever. When that lead comes in, it's your job and your responsibility as a business owner and salesperson. And I know you might not like being called a salesperson, but ultimately, I'm guessing that you're probably the one who's responsible for bringing in the sales into your business. So you're a salesperson. You've got to get that lead from being a cold lead that's just dropped into your inbox all the way through 3 different sections. So write these 3 different sections down and let me explain what I mean by them. Write down the word before, during, and after. Now, the before stage of your customer journey is what I say is what happens and what are all the steps and the stages and the tasks and the processes that you have to do before the customer has given you the job. You see, there's certain things that you've got to do. So let me give you an example. Let's say, for argument's sake, step number 1 is the lead actually comes in and it hits your inbox. So number 1, the emails come in and it's hit your inbox. Number 2, we're then going to pick the phone up and we're going to call the customer. Number 3, we're going to vet the customer. Number 4, you're going to book the survey in to go and do a home or site survey. Number 5, an email confirmation is going to get automatically triggered when you book that appointment in. Number 6, an automated text message confirmation is going to get triggered. Number 7, a reminder email in the lead up to your appointment is going to get triggered. Number 8, a reminder text message is going to get triggered. Number 9, you're going to go and you're going to do the home or site survey. Number 10, you're going to price the job. Number 11, you're going to put the quote together. Number 12, you're going to email the quote out. Number 13, you're going to email a follow-up chasing that quote. Number 14, you're going to make a follow-up call chasing that quote. And then if the customer decides that they want to go ahead with you, number 15 is you're going to send out a deposit invoice and your terms and conditions for them to agree to. Now, that might not work exactly like you want it to in your business, but ultimately, the lead comes in, we've got to vet them, we've got to look at the job, we've got to survey it, we've got to price it, we've got to send a quote out, and we've got to follow it up. And I'm guessing everybody listening to this is going to follow a similar journey. Now, that's 15 different steps, 15 different stages, 15 different tasks that you or someone in your business needs to do, and you've only just been given not on job. Are you with me? And that's what I call the before stage. So it's before you get given the job. So what I want you to do, I want you to list out all the different steps and stages that you would have in your before part of your customer journey. But then when you get the job, the during stages, during me doing this job, there are a whole host of other tasks, steps and processes that I've got to do the job. Example, you might have to order materials, organise labour. You might have to organise scaffolding being erected, skips being delivered, different subcontractors coming in. You know, when you think about what do you need to do a job, there's lots of different steps that you've got to do. So what are those steps that you need to do in the during stage? And then the after stage is when you've wrapped up fitting that boiler or them solar panels or hanging that door or skimming that ceiling or re-roofing that hip end, when you've done and the job's finished, as you're putting your tools in the back of your van to drive off, or your team are, that's not the end of the journey, is it? Because after that, there's going to be a final invoice to do. There's going to be some bank reconciliation to do. There's going to be some numbers that need doing in Xero or QuickBooks to work out your gross or net profit. There's going to be a strategy to get a 5-star review. There's going to be a strategy to get a video testimonial. There's going to be a referral program and strategy that kicks in where you're going to educate that happy customer on how they can find you more referrals and word of mouth. So there's still things that need to happen after the doors have been shut on your van and they've drove off. Do you get me? So what I want you to do, the starting point with this customer journey, is you mapping out what are all the steps in stage 1, which is before. What are all the steps in stage 2, which is the during, and what are all the steps in stage 3, which is the after. And having coached over 30,000 trades business owners, I'm telling you now, if you're going to build this customer journey out that's slick and that's like super sexy for your customers, I'm telling you now, you're going to end up with a bare minimum of 30 different tasks and steps from a lead coming in to getting that 5-star review. There's going to be 30 different things that you need to do. I mean, come on. I've just hypothetically given you 15 different things just in the before stage. Then you've got the during, then you've got the after. Now, let's assume that there are, on average, 30 steps in your customer journey that somebody has to do something. Imagine this. You've got 30 steps now, right, with one customer. Now, I'm sure that you might have time on your hands to wing it and do all them 30 steps manually with no automation, no systems, no nothing, right? Because you've got one customer and there's 30 things to do. But if you imagine having 10 customers on the go or 10 leads and enquiries on the go at any one time, some of them might be in the before stage, some of them might be in the during, and some of them might be in the after. So no one customer is at the exact same stage on that customer journey at any one time. They're all at different stages. So if there's 30 stages and you've got 10 customers, that's 300 fucking steps and stages and tasks and processes that you've got to remember to do, and you've only got 10 customers on. How the hell are you supposed to remember to do 300 different things all at the right time, all in the right order, run a business, have a life, have some hobbies, right, without dropping the ball? You're going to drop the ball. And this is why, this is what says to me, you haven't got the right customer journey in place. So to start off with, the first thing I want you to do, map out how many steps are in your before, during and after, and then you've got for the first time clarity of everything that you need to do for every customer. And not only that, if you've got clarity for the first time and you've got a team involved in running your business with you, surely your team need to see this customer journey, don't they? If they're involved in delivering this part of the customer journey, they need to have some clarity on how it's mapped and flowed out too. And when we start looking at this, we go, right, okay, there's 30 things that we've got to do. We've got to make sure we don't drop the ball. How do we do it? So in the next chapter, I'm going to be sharing with you the 4 different steps that we need to pull together to make sure that all them, hypothetically, 30 steps are systemized, automated, and all consistent, no matter whether you're busy or you're slack. It's the same 5-star, 10-star service that we're going to deliver. Part number 1, I want you to write down the word attract strategy. Attract strategy. Now, whether you need to get rid of all them time-wasting customers and replace them with pre-qualified leads, or you're planning on growing and scaling your business and you need more leads coming into your business full stop, we've got to have an attract strategy. Because you cannot make profit, you cannot grow your business, you cannot scale it, you cannot employ more staff if you don't have the work to go at. And how we get the work and how we scale is by increasing the amount of leads coming into our business. So what we've got to work on first is, if we're starting off right at the beginning of the journey, it's looking at your attract strategy and what type of content and how much content are you creating as part of your attract strategy to attract, just like a magnet, to attract your target market in their highest concentration to your business. Because if you're doing the bare minimum of marketing, which I generally find most, not all, but most trades business owners are doing, such as, oh, Craig, I'm using social media and I've got a website and I've tried paid ads, but they didn't work. If that's your attract strategy, you're really going to struggle. So the first thing that we need to work out is, actually, who is your target market? Because for many people, you'll be posting on, let's say, social media, and you'll be putting posts out there, and it's going out to a market that's not even interested in what you've got. Why? Because you've just accepted any Tom, Dick and Harry as friend request or LinkedIn request, let's say on LinkedIn, into your world, and you're putting content out about your business, and they're not even interested in the product or service that you're selling. So the first thing we've got to do is work out, right, who is our target market and where can we find them in the highest concentration? Now, I'm going to give you another podcast episode that I've recorded that's absolutely, the whole episode is dedicated to giving you the 9 characteristics that you need to work out your B2B, your business to business, or your B2C, business to consumer target markets. Because there's 9 characteristics for your B2B and 9 characteristics to your B2C. And if we don't work out who they are and where we can find them, then we're going to struggle generating more leads. Because otherwise, it's just a scattergun approach. You're putting random content out there at random times to a random target market who don't want to buy what you're selling. So you're going to struggle generating leads. If we can work out who that target market is and then start creating content as part of our attract strategy to attract them to our business, and the content's got the right messaging to call out that target market and almost punch them on end at nose when they're scrolling on Facebook or scrolling on LinkedIn, to stop them from scrolling and take notice of you and your business, then that's the first part of this strategy. So what I want you to do at the end of this episode, I want you to go and check out episode number 11. Because on episode 11 is where I give you the full-blown strategy for you to work out your B2B and your B2C target markets. And when you've done that, that's the first step. Now, if we want to build know, like, trust and confidence with our target market, we've got to be doing a whole host of different types of marketing activity to attract our target market to us. Because not everybody is on Facebook and LinkedIn. Not everybody uses it. So if you're just focusing on, let's say, social media as a platform, you're going to be missing out on the target market that doesn't use social media, or they're not on social media very often. Are you with me? So we've got to position our business and put it in many different places so we can appeal to the wider market, no matter where they are, no matter where they're hanging out, no matter where they consume content. We've got to be everywhere. And this is what I mean about most businesses are doing the absolute bog standard basics. And usually they will not be marketing their businesses in no more than 5 different places. And if you're marketing your business in 5 places or less, I'm not saying you're going to struggle to generate leads, because you are now. You've got your business to where it is now using that strategy. But if you want better qualified leads and you want to grow your business and take more staff on, more vans on road, more jobs, then clearly you've got to be doing more marketing. And you can't just rely on doing a handful of things to generate leads. So what I'm going to give you now are the top 20 different ways of marketing that I teach my inner circle members, and I push them to implement all 20. Now, disclaimer, I'm going to rattle these off, but it's near on impossible for you to go and do all this lot in a week. You can't implement 20 strategies in a week. What you can do is implement maybe 2 one week, 2 the following, 2 the following week, 2 the following week. Are you with me? And then perhaps over the course of maybe 3 to 6 months, you'll be able to implement all of these 20 strategies. And trust me, when you get these strategies in place and you are everywhere and people can find you everywhere, it's game over. You will never have to worry about leads coming in again. So let me go through these 20 different ways. These are the best ways for trades and construction business owners to generate leads. I want you to write all 20 down. Are we ready? In no particular order. Number 1, social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, YouTube. And then let's not forget that inside Facebook and LinkedIn, we've got groups. So you need to be inside the groups, or you need to be setting up your own groups. Number 2, paid ads such as Google, Facebook, and for you guys that are into commercial side, LinkedIn. Number 3, video marketing. You will know that I am absolutely mad on video marketing, right? Video marketing is the most powerful form of marketing known to mankind. End of. Number 4, email workflows and automations. Number 5, text message workflow and automations. Number 6, direct mail. Yeah. The old pigeon carrier now posting stuff out in envelopes is working now better than it's ever worked before, because people don't expect to get post, handwritten post. It's all email, isn't it? So direct mail. Number 7, website SEO. Getting your website ranking on Google and Bing and search engines for your keywords. Number 8, Google My Business and Google Maps. Number 9, blog articles that are SEO'd to the max with your keywords so they can be found on search engines. Number 10, vlog articles. It's basically a blog, a written article with a video supporting it. Number 11, podcasts. Just like this, I've got lots of Inner Circle members now that have created podcasts and are generating leads galore and building their authority through their podcast. Number 12, leaflets. Number 13, magazine articles, whether that's in your local church magazine or a glossy magazine that comes around your area. Number 14, referral program. You get to the end of a job, you educate your customer on how to find you more referrals. They go and find your referrals. They get an incentive and a thank you for finding them. Number 15, networking groups. Attending local networking groups, whether that's in person or online. 16, strategic partners. What I mean by this is non-competing businesses that have got the same target market as you that can refer you in. Example, when I had my loft conversion business before I sold it, a great strategic partner for us would have been architects. So we built loads of relationships with architects and they kept feeding us work. Number 17, trade directory platforms such as Which Trusted Trader or Checker Trade. Number 18, your online reviews, your 5-star Google reviews, your 5-star Which Trusted Trader reviews. Number 19, local sponsorships, whether that's sponsoring your local football team or whether that's sponsoring like we used to do, golf courses, because our target market hanged out on golf courses. Number 20, exhibitions, whether that's an exhibition at a big Birmingham NEC Centre for Grand Designs, or it's a local exhibition or market stall even, locally, that you can exhibit at. Those 20 different ways of marketing your business are 100% guaranteed to work for your business as long as you've got the right strategy for each one and you don't just wing it. Now think about it, that's 20. You might be sat here going, well, Craig, exhibitions, I'm a plastering contractor. Why would I want to go to Grand Designs? Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe that won't fit your business. But for some of you, it will do. So I'm not saying all 20 are 100% relevant to your business, but come on, you could pick 15 different forms of attract marketing. Put that into place over the course of the next 3 to 6 months and you'll not be able to keep up with leads. Seriously, you'll not be able to keep up with leads. Why? Because you're marketing to your target market in all the different places and all the different ways in which where they hang out. And we've got to meet them where they hang out. It's not all about them finding us organically on Google, because let's face it, most people's websites aren't SEO'd anyway. You've got a brochure website, so it's never going to get found. So what we've got to do is we've got to market our business in, let's say, 15 different areas so we can start to find our target market and attract them to them. Now, this attract strategy is not complete yet, because what I'm sharing with you now is the types of content or the areas in which we need to market. But what we need to be doing is using all these different 20 different ways to drive traffic back to our ultimate sales tools, which are our website, landing pages, and funnels. Your objective behind an attract strategy is to make people aware of what you do as a business, hit them with the pain points, then give them the solution that your business solves their pain point. And what you're going to do is the call to action on every single one of those 20 different parts of your marketing strategy, your attract strategy, is to drive people back to those 3 ultimate sales tools: your website, your landing page, and your funnels. And if your website's set up correctly with the 16 fundamental features it needs on it, and your landing pages and funnels are set up correctly, so they become high converting, all of a sudden, instead of posting on Facebook and on your Facebook business page and hoping and praying that somebody sees your post and they click a link and then they go back to a shitty website that's not been built right, the design's not right, it's not high converting, it's missing the 16 features, you might be doing the hard work, getting people, let's say, off social media back to your website, but because your website's pants, or you're not using landing pages or funnels, your traffic's bouncing, it's going. So you're not getting the leads. So we've got to make sure that we're using these 20 different attract strategies to drive people back to us ultimate sales tools. And if they're built the way in which I teach you to build them, you will turn them into high converting sales tools. Now, write this episode down, episode number 30. Because on episode number 30, I do a comparison between websites versus landing pages versus funnels, so you can work out which one is going to generate you the most amount of leads. Right? So again, at the end of this episode, I want you to check out episode number 30. So your attract strategy is all designed to attract your target market, not time wasters, not tire kickers, your target market in the highest concentration by using all them different attract strategies back to your website, back to your landing page, or back to your funnel. And therefore, we've just generated a lead. Part 2 is called your conversion strategy. Conversion strategy. And what I mean by this is, your attract strategy part 1 has now generated you an avalanche of leads because you're using all them 15, 20 different ways. It's your target market that you're attracting to your business. You sent them back to your ultimate sales tool, i.e. your website. Your website's built correctly. It's now converted and you've got a lead. But just because you've got the lead doesn't mean to say that you've got the business. It's just a lead. So part 2, your conversion strategies, improving the way in which you convert these leads coming into your business. Because in all honesty, some of you don't need more leads. You're generating enough leads. You just need to convert more of the leads that you've got coming in. But your conversion strategy is not right. So it's great generating some great leads, but if we can't convert it because there's conversion strategies pants, we're going to struggle. So, what I want you to consider is this. Given the fact that At this point, you've set your business up, you've got systems in place, some of you have got a team, some of you invested into websites, you're now starting to use 15 to 20 different ways of your attract strategy, right? So you're doing all this work, right? For you to potentially go and cock it up by what you're saying or not doing and saying when it comes to the sale. This is the sales process. The marketing strategy has done its job. It's generated the lead. As soon as the lead comes in, it turns to a sales pipeline, a sales strategy, where you, as the salesperson, have got to do whatever you can do ethically within your power to get that person and influence them to use you rather than your competitors. So do you not think it makes sense that at the final hurdle, which is coming to the sales part, do you not think it makes sense to learn a few sales techniques to help you to get that person that's coming as a lead into a paying customer? Now, usually at this point, people say to me, do you know what, Craig? I'm actually all right at sales. If I can get in front of a customer, and by the time I've had a chat with them and shown them how knowledgeable I am, and they get to warm to me and they build a bit of rapport with me, I generally get the jobs where I can go out and see the customer. And I say to them, okay, so you think that you've got the gift of the gab. You can sell ice to the Eskimos, right? Maybe you're a bit of a cheeky chappy and you think you can sell. And I say to them, right, I tell you what then, you try and sell something to me. And within a minute of them trying to sell to me, I've actually turned the conversation completely round and I'm actually selling back to them. And I'm tying them in knots. Why? Because I've had sales training. 15 years of sales training as a business owner, because I understand that I can't afford to go and cock up all my hard work by saying and doing or not doing the right things at the right time when it comes to the sales process. And that's what the conversion strategy is. It's the first part of the sales process. I need to convert this lead into a paying customer as quick as I can. So if you've had no training in sales when it comes to things like positioning yourself, authority building, how to correctly build rapport, temperature checking, asking for the business, or, I don't like this term, but this is what it's called, closing, asking a closing question, or you don't know how to deal with objections. So if I said to you, oh, Frank, I've had 3 other quotes are cheaper or too expensive, I'm going to use one of them, what would you say to me? How could you deal with that objection in a professional manner where you don't lose the business? So number one, my suggestion to you all is you've got to get some sales training. Now, I want you to go and check out something, write this down, called NLP. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And if you go onto YouTube and you just start typing NLP, there's lots of NLP practitioners out there that start to teach you about things like body language. Because 55% of communication between you and your customer is body language. You don't even have to say a word and you can communicate. Also, you've got to be mindful of the words that you're using and the tonality of those words. Are you speaking too quick for that customer or too slow for that customer? Did you know that there's 3 communication styles? There's visual, there's auditory, and there's kinesthetic. Now, if you don't know this and you're a visual person and you go and see Mr. and Mrs. Jones and Mr. Jones is kinesthetic and Mrs. Jones is auditory, and you're trying to sell your product or service to them at a home survey and you're visual, you've got no chance. You've got no chance of selling to them. So a lot of the times it's not a case of, oh, we've got a cheaper quote. What they really want to say deep down is this: Frank, you turned up late, 15 minutes late to home survey. When you came and did the survey, you never once asked us as a customer what we wanted. You went away and told us that you were going to get your quote back to us by Thursday at 4:00. It took me 3 emails and 2 phone calls to chase you for that quote. You told me that you were going to give me a ring on this day at this time and you never rang. What they want to say is, we've lost faith, we've got no confidence that you can do the job that we're bringing you in to do. It was never about price. Price is just an easy objection to get rid of you. What they wanted to say is, you got shit customer service and they didn't trust you. That's what they want to say, but they don't. They say, oh, we're going with a cheaper quote. What you've actually done is somewhere along this customer journey, you've not ticked all their boxes. And every customer wants different boxes ticking. And if you don't know how to tick their boxes and you're just coming out with the same spiel every time you go and see a customer, the law of averages says that you're going to win some jobs. You look at 10, you're bound to win 1. But what I want you to do is I want you to increase that conversion rate. And how you're going to do that, number 1, is you're going to get some sales training. Now, check out NLP on YouTube and just start familiarizing yourself with how we can start to build rapport with people by changing who we become to suit them. And if we can build that authority, if we can build rapport, if we can temperature check, if we're not afraid of asking for the business and we can deal with objections in a confident manner, I'm telling you now, your conversion rate is going to increase. So this section is all around how can we increase that conversion? What do we need to do to convert more of the jobs that we've got coming in? And then once we've mastered this and our attract strategy starts to generate an avalanche of leads, we're now in a position where we can start to convert more of them. So number 1, I want you to get some sales training and check out NLP. Number 2, which is huge, is if we want to get our conversion rates up and convert more people, we have got to get rid of time wasters and tire kickers early doors. And to this day, it still frustrates me knowing that some of you will take a phone call tomorrow or you'll get an email next week and you'll go, great, I've got a new job to go and look at. And you'll travel to the other side of your town and city, probably at an inconvenient time for you, maybe at an evening. So you're not seeing your family. You're going to go there, half an hour drive. You're going to spend an hour there, half an hour back. That's 2 hours gone. You're going to spend probably an hour putting the price and quote and proposal together. That's 3 hours. And then you're probably going to send that off and spend another half an hour chasing it. 3.5 hours your time being wasted. And when you eventually get hold of the customer, that's if they don't ghost you because they've got your price in, let's say. They said they don't want to go ahead and the legitimate reason is you are too expensive. But in reality, you should have never have even gone to look at that job in the first place because that customer didn't have the budget in the first place and their timescales were unrealistic and you were busy and you couldn't fit them in. So why the hell even go and look at that job in the first place and waste all that valuable time of yours? I don't get it. I don't get why you're doing this. So what we need to introduce is a vetting process. And what we're going to do in this vetting process is, before you actually get to speak to anyone on the phone, they've got to have gone through a vetting form that asks all the questions that you need to know, including budget and timescales, to determine whether they are a time waster or they're actually a warm lead. So my question to you is this: What questions would you need to ask to determine whether they were going to be a time waster or not? And if we can put everybody through that form and gather that information off them up front, you can then make an intelligent decision whether it's worth your valuable time to go and see them or not. Now, again, with this being such a important part of the sales process, I've actually done a dedicated episode on how to create a vetting form to replace time wasters with pre-qualified leads. And I go through the entire strategy, all the questions to ask, even how to get the budget out of every single one of your potential customers, because you can if you ask it the right way. So what I want you to do is go and check out episode number 36 at the end of these episodes, and go and have a look at the strategy that I teach about putting that vetting form in place. The third thing that we need to focus on to get our conversion rates up is your professionalism. And I know we all want to think that we're super professional and we do us best in what we do, but being good now is just average. By being absolutely ridiculously professional and slick and off the scale, that equals good. We've got to up our game. So there'll be certain schoolboy or schoolgirl errors that you will be making that are turning people off. And it's things like this that I'm going to share with you now that are going to turn people off and why you're losing the business. Because remember, it's not always about price. It's about something that you've done that's not ticked one of their boxes or pissed them off. And it's just took that one or two things for them to think they're not for me. And again, they use price as the objection, but it were never price. It's something that you've done or not done. So in terms of you being professional, write down these 10 things I'm going to rattle off now. And these aren't the be all and end all, but in all honesty, these 10 things are what I see the vast majority of trades and construction business owners doing that's preventing them from getting that sale, preventing them from increasing that conversion rate. So write these down. They're obvious. None of this is rocket science, by the way. These are obvious, but I want you to ask yourself when I read these out, actually, am I dropping the ball with any of these? Because these are just, like I said, super simple to get right. Number 1, answer the goddamn phone. Oh my goodness. How many people do I ring and they don't answer the phone? It's like, you're a business. You're supposed to be open 24/7 in today's day and age with AI and chatbots and live chat. There's no reason why we can't communicate with people 24/7, 365 days a year. But we've got some people that don't answer the phone. How are you supposed to grow your business and generate more leads when you don't answer your flipping phone and you let it click to voicemail? So number 1, you've got to answer your phone, ideally within 3 rings. Number 2, your message response times. What I mean by that is you don't answer your phone, someone leaves you a voice message, but it takes you 2 days to get back to them. Why? Because you're busy. Or someone sends you an email, but you're too busy to respond and it's sat in your inbox for 2 days. That is unacceptable and that will piss people off. Number 3, how you make that potential customer feel. Because if you are making them feel like they are the only customer or potential customer that you've got on, and they mean the world to you, and you're going to wow them to get that business, then brilliant. That's how customers want to be made to feel. They're paying you their hard-earned money. They want to feel like they're getting a good experience back. They want you to make them feel good about themselves, because when they part with the money that they're going to invest into you, they want to make sure that they're happy and comfortable in doing that with the right person, right? So, example, you go for a family meal and you sat there for 10 minutes, then even come and took your drinks order. 15 minutes later, they come and take your drinks order, but they don't bring them over. They eventually bring them over, but all ice has melted in your soft drinks and now drinks are all watery. It then takes you another 15 minutes for someone to come over and order your food. Your food comes out. It's not the best food. You can see people are rushing. Customer service is poor, right? How does that make you feel when you've now got to pay 100 quid for that family meal? You don't want to pay it, do you? It makes you feel like you've had your pants pulled down. Well, it's the same with you and your customers. Number 4, your time frames on your proposals. And what I mean by this is, if you're going to promise someone a certain day and a certain time on when they're going to get their proposal, quote or estimate, right, make sure that you do it beforehand. Not at 4 o'clock on Monday when you said you were going to send it at 4 o'clock on a Monday. I'm talking about send it at 8 o'clock Monday morning. Send it beforehand, right? Set their expectations that you're actually beating your own deadline dates. Because come on, most trades are tarnished with being unreliable. So if you can't even get your quote out at the time you said you were going to get it out to them, what is that telling them about? Are you going to be able to be reliable to do the job on time? So you've got to make sure your time frames are acceptable. Number 5, your business branding. How you brand your business up is part of marketing, but it's also part of sales. Because your brand is telling people a lot about your business. And albeit a lot of you will have put together your own brand, maybe done it on the cheap, maybe didn't have any real experience in branding when you first set your business up, and 10 years later you've still got this cheap brand hanging over you. Your branding and what you put in front of people, people are going to judge you on it, rightly or wrongly. So if you have got awful branding, and let's say your proposals go out, please tell me inside your proposals you've got video testimonials embedded. Tell me you've got an introduction video of you inside your proposal. Tell me that people can sign your terms and conditions electronically and pay a deposit from within your proposal. Because all that lot is branding. And if we don't get the branding right and it looks cheap, or the quote looks a bit tacky, because the quote is a sales tool, if the quote doesn't look right and your brand doesn't look right, you're going to turn people off. Number 6, your personal branding, as in you and your team. How do you look when you go out? What do you dress in? Do you rock up on a job covered in crap, looking like a tradesman? Because people don't want that when they come to your house. They don't mind you being in workwear, but it's got to be clean and tidy. Are you covered in plaster dust? Have you got decorator's coke all over your Snickers work trowel? Are your boots a mess? Is your hair a mess? Is it a red hot day and you've got sweat patches underneath your t-shirt, right? All that is your personal branding. And again, people are going to judge you. There's the 6-second rule. When you see people for the very first time, you make a judgment call based on how they appear. You've got to make sure that your personal branding is bang on. Number 7, your brand authority. And what I mean with your brand authority, I'm on about everything to do with you and your business. As a package, how do you position yourself in the market? When people go onto your website, have you got lots of video testimonials on your website with the world telling everybody how amazing, clean, tidy, on time, on budget you are? Have you got more 5-star reviews than everybody else? Have you just won an award like Dale Price, my Inner Circle members, just won the Flooring Contractor of the Year, right? Have you got awards? How are you building that authority? Have you been in newspapers? Have you been on radio? Have you got all that lot on your website and all your branding? because that helps build the entire authority and confidence in that customer. Number 8, the quality of your marketing. Because yes, they might have generated a lead, but what about the rest of the marketing? What about the automated emails and text messages that get triggered when somebody books a home survey with you? Have you got the videos, in links to videos in there with you introducing yourself and explaining how grateful you are for this opportunity to be able to go and do what it is you're going to go and price? All this lot is part of your marketing, and this still forms part of the sales. So it's all right having good marketing at the front end and generating the lead, but if the rest of the marketing beyond that is awful, you're going to turn people off. Number 9, the vehicle that you drive. Seriously. When I started doing really well for myself with my building company, I thought, right, you know what, I'm going to treat myself. And I went and bought an E-Class soft top Merc. And what I did, I pulled up outside a customer's house one night when I was going to go and survey the loft. And I walked up the drive and I knocked on the door and he opened the door and he went, "Hey, mate, is that your car?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Robbing bastard." And he closed the door in my face. All I said was, "Yeah, it was my car." Now, he looked at my car and thought, I must be ripping people off. Because I'm a joiner and a builder, I shouldn't be driving a nice car. So that car, straight away, lost me that potential sale. Now, he could have had the opposite mindset and he could have said, he must be a cracking builder, him. If he can afford a car like that, he must be brilliant at what he does. I want him. But that taught me a lesson. So I ended up buying a Berlingo van and rattling around in a Berlingo van because that vehicle suited what I was doing. Likewise, when I first set up my business in 1994, I spent £300 on a rusty red transit van. I was embarrassed. I was skinned. I didn't have any money back then. So when I was pulling up outside people's houses and they were looking, I could see state of my van. It was an old van. So I used to park van round corner and then walk round so that they couldn't see my vehicle. I was the best joiner in the world. I was going to give them an incredible service and deal. But the van would have put them off. Number 10, your overall customer service. You must be listening to what I'm talking about on this podcast now, and you must be thinking, do you know what, Craig? Now you're spelling it out to me like this. We do okay with this customer service, but in reality, it could be a damn sight better. Well, listen, a lot of these customer services are quick fixes. Answer your flipping phone. Be conscious of what you're wearing. Make sure you stick to time frames on what you're telling people. Make sure you pull up in a clean and tidy van. None of this is rocket science, but it makes a massive difference to your overall customer service as you as a business person and as you as a business. And again, people are going to judge you based on how you make them feel. So, these 3 things that I've just shared with you in this chapter, number 1, sales training. Number 2, vetting forms. And number 3, the professionalism of how you are portraying yourself and your business are all major factors in the conversion of that lead. Now, I want you to make a note of this because this is really important. Are you tracking where all your leads come from? I call it lead source tracking. In other words, are you finding out of every single customer or potential customer that brings you a lead in? Are you simply asking the question, Mrs. Jones, would you mind if I asked you, how did you hear of our company? Because if you're not asking how they heard of you and where that lead has come from, you've got no way of knowing what marketing is working and what's not. Now think about this. Right now, if you're just doing the basic standard, social media, website, maybe a bit of paid ads, maybe shoving a few leaflets through letterboxes. If that's all you're doing, the likelihood is it's come from one of them 4 things. However, when you start stepping up your attract strategy and bolting, let's say, 15 different things on, you need to know where that lead has come from. And here's why. Some of my inner circle members will come up to me and go, Craig, we've had a cracking quarter. I'm ready to invest 10 grand or whatever it is. Might be 5 grand, might be 15 grand, whatever. I'm happy to invest 10 grand into marketing, right? Where is the best place for me to spend that 10 grand to get the best investment back? And I'm going to say, well, first of all, where do all your leads come from? And if they're not tracking where the leads come from, I'm going to say, I'm not a magician, I'm not a mind reader. If you don't know where the vast majority of leads are coming from, how can I tell you where to spend your money? But on the program, when we start tracking conversion rates, they'll come to me and they'll go, Craig, 70% of my leads come from social media, 10% of my leads come through my website, 12% of my leads come through my ads. And when they rattle off all the different percentages from their attract strategy, we'll look at, right, out of all them 15 things you're doing, these 3 are generating you more leads than anything else. So that's where we're going to invest that 10 grand. We're going to put it into those 3 things because we know that they're generating you more leads. So what I want you to start doing is asking every customer or every potential lead, how did you hear of our company? And then simply just knock up a spreadsheet and put that customer's name down. What did they inquire about? What were the service? And where did the lead come from? And then if you did that for every time somebody inquired in your business, a picture will start to emerge. And that picture will be the vast majority of our leads are coming from this. Then we know what's working and we also know what's not working. So out of the 15 things, if there's 2 or 3 things that don't really seem to be generating a great deal of leads, we switch them off. And we take that time that we'd normally invest into them 3 things and we put it into the 3 things that are generating us leads. You see what I'm saying? Now, as part of this, I want you to work out your first conversion metrics, KPI, your key performance indicator. And what I mean by this is, I want you to work out what your conversion rate and conversion percentage is currently at. So let me explain. Let's say, for argument's sake, that you've quoted 10 jobs. That could be 10 jobs this week. That could be 10 jobs this month. That could be 10 jobs this quarter, depending on what you do for a business. But either way, let's say you've quoted 10 jobs. And out of those 10 jobs, you've won 4. Now, that's telling me that you've got a 1 in 4 conversion rate. And your conversion rate is 40%. You've quoted 10 jobs, you've won 4. So for every 10 jobs you look at, on average, you're going to win 4. Likewise, you've now got a 40% conversion percentage. I would like you to work out what your conversion percentage is. So if you go back and you look in Xero or QuickBooks and look in your accountancy software and look at how many jobs you've actually done compared to how many jobs you've quoted, you'll be able to work out what those figures are. So if you've won 7 out of 10 jobs, you know that for every 10 jobs you're going to look at, on average, you're going to win 7. So you've got a 70% conversion rate. Now, here's the thing. Not only is this going to be a starting point for you, but it also tells me as your coach different things. What I mean by this is, If you said to me, Craig, I'm only winning 4 out of 10 jobs, so my conversion rate is 40%, I'm going to say to you, right, there's something you're doing wrong then in your attract strategy and your conversion strategy. So the 2 areas that we've just covered, the 2 parts, something's going wrong. Because if it was right, your conversion rate would be better than 40%. And then what we do is we go back and we start looking at what you're doing, what you're saying, how do you present yourself, what do your quotes look like, how long does it take you to price, are you making the customer feel like they wanted and you're the only customer that you're focusing on? Is the sales side of it right? All that lot needs looking at because something's going wrong. And eventually, by a process of elimination, we'll work out what that is, and that then conversion rate will go up. Likewise, if you came back to me and said, actually, Craig, I do really well. Every 10 jobs I've done, quoted, I've won 8. So in other words, every time you quote 10 jobs, you're going to win 8. So you've got an 80% conversion rate. That sounds great. You're winning loads of work. What I'd be saying if you're winning 8 out of 10 jobs is you're too cheap. You're delivering the service and you're delivering what you said you're going to do with the attract and conversion side. You're clearly doing okay with the sales side. But if you're winning 8 out of 10 jobs, the likelihood is we could put your prices up. So we can start to increase your prices and see what happens to that conversion rate. Now, if we increase them too much and it drops to 40%, we need to find a middle ground. But what I tell my inner circle members to do is, when your conversion rate is high, keep nudging up your prices until you hit a ceiling point where they start to drop. And that's your sweet spot. So for you people that are winning a lot of jobs, put your prices up. Don't be scared of putting your prices up. So think about it. We're now attracting more leads from our attract strategy. They're now going through a vetting form. We've now got a bit of sales training. We're now looking more professional. We're now tracking our conversion rates and seeing what's working and not. And all of a sudden, our conversions are going to go higher. So now we're converting better customers in a more consistent way. Part number 3, write down upsell and downsell. Now, what I mean by an upsell and a downsell is at the point where we are converting our customer, the first thing we've got to make sure is we're not going to lose that lead, right? And what I mean by that is you've paid for the marketing, you've spent some time on it already, so you've paid for the acquisition, you've paid for that lead with your marketing spend and your overheads. So when the lead comes in, providing they've been through our vetting form and we know that they are our target market and we are a right fit, the last thing we want to do is lose that work, lose that job. Whether that be on price, legitimately on price, or whether that's because we've only given them one option. In other words, let's say boiler installs. You've only given them a price for one boiler, one manufacturer boiler with one lot of warranty. If that doesn't fit right with that customer, doesn't matter about price, you're going to lose the business because you've only offered them one thing. So what I'm saying here at this point is we've got an opportunity to not lose this job. And we've got an opportunity to maybe upsell that customer into something else. And I'm not talking here about taking advantage of customers or ripping customers off. That's unethical. That's not right. We don't do that. But what I'm saying is, from an upsell point of view, it's exactly the same as what McDonald's do. You go into McDonald's and years ago they started saying, do you want to go large with that? Or do you want fries with that? Or do you want a meal? Do you want a large meal with that? And every time they ask that question, do you want to go large? What they're doing is they're upselling you, right? You're in McDonald's to solve a problem. You're hungry. you're the right fit, and you could have a kids' Happy Meal if you wanted, right? But what do? They upsell you. They're going to sell you something, so they might as well upsell you on something that's still going to solve the problem, but at the same time, increase their profit margins. And that's what I'm saying, but we do this ethically, right? So hear me out on this. Let's say, for argument's sake, that you are a plumbing and heating engineer and you are quoting a boiler. I would always strongly recommend that you give 3 prices. Give them the price that's the mid-range. Give them a price which would be a downsell, which is, let's say, a more economy version, so it's a better price. And then give them something that's above the budget, that's all singing and dancing. And if they've been vetted correctly in the vetting form and we've understood what their budget is, they can then not use price as an objection, because you've given them 3 options. You've given them the middle option, whereas if you were only going to give them one option, it would be that one. But given the fact that we understand now that we've got an upsell or a downsell, we're giving them 3 bites at the cherry. So when you offer an upsell and a downsell around the price that you were originally going to quote, price can't be an objection. Because if they say it's out of budget, well, we've got a downsell, go for that one. Or they might look at the mid-range one and go, well, actually, now you've explained the benefits of the all singing, all dancing one, and it's a better warranty and a better guarantee and a better manufacturer. Do you know what? It makes sense for us to go for that one, the upsell, because that one suits our budget still and gives us what we want and more. Are you with me? So I'm a firm believer in giving people 3 prices. Now, some of you might be saying, Craig, hang on a minute. For me to give someone 3 prices, it'd take me forever to work prices out. For instance, you might be a building contractor building an extension and you've come up with a price, but then you're going to go, well, hang on a minute, it's going to take me forever to come up with an upsell and a downsell price. Well, it's not really, is it? Because you know what you could bolt onto the upsell and you know what you could take off to get to the downsell. And let's face it, if you're pricing things like extensions, I would have thought that you've got some pricing software where you're just punching numbers into it and it spits them out at the other end. Or you might be a plumbing and heating engineer who can offer 3 prices on boilers. Or you might be a roofing contractor and you could give them 3 different prices based on tiles. It could be rosemary tiles, it could be Marley Moderns, or it could be slate. Are you with me? What I'm trying to say to you here is, if you're only giving them one option, you've only got 1 bite at the cherry to win the business. And if that cherry doesn't fit their cake, they're gonna want to go somewhere else to have the cake and eat it, i.e. somebody who has offered them what they want. So I'm a firm believer in packaging things up, right, and offering 3 prices. That way we've got the upselling, we've got the normal price, and we've got the downsell. And I believe, probably other than maybe, let's say, a plasterer, it's going to be difficult for a plasterer to go, oh, Mrs. Jones, I've come to give you a price for skimming your ceiling and your bedroom. All right, I get that. That might be a bit difficult to give 3 prices because it's skimming a ceiling. I get that. But for most people, you will, if you think about it, be able to give 3 different prices. Also, I want you to consider this. Could you package different products or services together where you bundle things up, because packages make it easy for people to buy? Why do you think when you go onto Amazon, at the bottom of Amazon, when you go to check out and buy something, it pops up, oh, other people also bought this, and they start packaging things together? Because if you can make it easy for people to go, that's exactly what I want, it's got everything in it, buying a package is easier than buying individual things, right? So can we package things up? And a great example of this is one of my inner circle members who's a security company, like CCTV, cameras, burglar alarms. You know, what I've said to him is, look, why don't you package up? I'm going to call it, for this example, a home security package, where in this package, you get X amount of external cameras, you get X amount of internal cameras, you get an alarm, a bell box, sensors, shock absorbers, you get all that lot. And if you were to package all that lot up, including things if you wanted like external lights, outdoor lighting, you could do all that. Package it all up as a home security package, starting from, and then you give a starting from price. And that way, what you've done is, instead of somebody just inquiring about a home burglar alarm, now you're upselling them into the lighting. You're now upselling them to the external cameras. You're now upselling the internal cameras. You're now selling the shocks on the windows, right? You're upselling all that lot. And if you were to put that as a package together, starting from this price, I'm telling you now, people will buy it. And what you've automatically done by packaging things together, you've added upsells in. So what I want you to consider as part 3 is, we can't lose the business. Now we've gotten to a point where we've vetted them out and we're going to convert them. So how can we offer 3 options or package things together to make it easy to suit their criteria or their spec, no matter what each individual customer is expecting? Give them one option and you've only got one bite at the cherry. Give them 3 options, you've got 3 bites at the cherry, and no one should ever be saying, you're not getting the job because I've got cheaper quotes. Part number 4 is called the 3 R's. The 3 R's. Now, remember what I've been saying all along. This is a customer journey. So if we rewind and look at what we've covered so far, part 1 of the customer journey is attracting more target market and leads to our business. So we've got more leads, more inquiries coming in. Part number 2 is all around converting them leads and doing our absolute best to make sure that we're in a position where we're going to be able to convert them in a higher concentration. Part number 3 is, as we're converting them, we don't want to lose the business. So we're going to upsell or downsell. We're going to package things up and offer 3 different prices if we can. Now we've won the job, we've got to do the job. So that's the during stage that I started this episode off talking about. So now you're in the during stage. You're going to do the job. And at the end, we're coming to the after stage, where certain things have got to happen after you finish the job. And this is where the 3 R's come into. So let me just explain to you what these 3 R's are. Write these down. The first R stands for repeat. We want to see if we can get repeat business from that customer. The second R is referral. In other words, can we introduce a referral strategy so they can introduce us to more of their family, friends, or colleagues? And the third R is a review. Whether that's a 5-star review on Google, or whether that's a video testimonial review, or both, we need to be getting those reviews at the end. So let me just break each one of these R's down. The first R is repeat. Now, you might have a business where you can't get repeat business from that customer, no matter what you did. So, for example, I built loft conversions for a living. I had a building company. Someone would only spend 80 grand with me having 1 loft conversion built or 1 extension built. You're not going to have one loft conversion built for 80 grand and then move house, I wouldn't have thought, the following year and then have me back to spend another 80 grand on another house. So we struggle to get repeat business for our building company. Yes, we were offered lots of different work. Can you fit kitchens? Can you do bathrooms? Can you do knock-throughs? Can you take chimney breast out? All that lot. But we knew the numbers in our business and we knew that that wasn't as profitable doing that work as it were building loft conversions. So we used to reject it. So we couldn't get repeat business. But you in your trade and what you do, there's a possibility that you could get repeat business from that customer. Let's stick with the boiler example. You know, you fit a new ideal Worcester Bosch Baxi boiler, and then the repeat business is, well, you need to keep your boiler serviced, don't you? So it's in warranty. So we could do the servicing. We've got care plans that you could sign up to. So you've got new business coming through, repeat business from there. It may be that you're in commercial side and you're a joiner like me and you have got in with a builder and that builder constantly wants to give you repeat business. That's brilliant. But we don't want to let this relationship that we've just forged, where the customer's really happy with everything that we've done, while they're hot and while they're juicy, that's the time to hit them with these 3 R's. So how can you, and what's the strategy going to be about getting more repeat business from that customer? It could be as simple as at the end of the job, you explain to the customer all the different products or services that you offer so they're aware of them all. And then what you could do is you could drop them into an email marketing campaign where once a month they get an email from you promoting different services. And at some point, maybe in a year's time, they'll have you back to do something else. So number one, what can we do to get more repeat business? How can we educate that customer that this is what we do? So if you're ever in the market for A, B, and C, we're here. We'll keep in touch with you via email. You've got us details. Repeat business. The second R is referral. And what I mean by referral is, again, when they're hot and the juicy and they're happy with what you've done, how can we turn that customer into a salesperson for us? In other words, how can we educate them to get us some referrals to their friends, family, work colleagues, business associates that they know that potentially wants our services? And if we had a referral strategy that we explain to our customers at the end of every job that went something like this: look, Mrs. Jones, we really value you as a customer, right? And you've already told us how super joyed and happy you are with our service. Do you know anybody else, maybe a friend, family member, work colleague that would want X product or service? And they might go, actually, Craig, no, but if I hear of anyone, I'll let them know. Brilliant. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave you with some referral cards, Mrs. Jones. And what we do is we ask you to hand out these referral cards to anybody that you feel might be interested in what we've got or what we do. And in return, anybody that you refer to us, we will give you what? You've got to give them a reward. You've got to give them an incentive to incentivize them to find you referrals. Now, my referral strategy, when I had my business before I sold it, was obviously we're selling 70, 80 grand lofts. So we could afford to say you'll get £500 as a referral fee for anybody that you refer to us that comes on, we take on as a job, we'll give you 500 quid. Now, we knew that our acquisition cost was £947, which meant our acquisition cost is all the marketing spend that we had to spend every year, divided by the amount of lofts we did. It worked out that for every loft conversion we did, we'd have to spend £947 as an acquisition cost to acquire that loft. So we knew anything that we offered less than that, we were benefiting. So we could offer 500 quid, and we had lots and lots of customers get thousands of pounds of referral fees out of us because they were referring us to all their friends and family who got a growing family who needed more space and needed a loft. They'd refer us and they get 500 quid every time. And it worked. Now, obviously, you might be in a trade where you can't offer 500 quid. It could be an Amazon gift voucher, for instance. It could be, we'll put you into a prize draw to win an iPad, and we draw it every 3 months. It's up to you what you want to give away as a incentive. But if you incentivize them, they've got more chance of being able to find your referrals than not incentivizing them. And the third R is reviews. And we all know how important these are to get these reviews in. And you'll find some customers will be delighted to leave you a review and they'll do it there and then. You'll hear of some customers saying, do you know what? I'm going to leave you a review. You've done an amazing job. I'll leave it tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. And that's because in their busy lives, leaving you a review is not urgent and it's not important to leave you a review. They've got other things going off in their lives that's more important to them. So, how can we incentivize our target market and our happy customers to leave us a review? Now, you can't pay people to leave you reviews. Even if they're legitimate reviews, you can't pay them. When you look at, let's say, Google's policy, you cannot, they call it like an ethical bribe. They say you can't do that. And I'm not saying bend the rules. What I'm saying is there's got to be some kind of incentive for that person to leave you a review in a certain time frame. So why don't you try this one? Mrs. Jones, if you can leave me a 5-star review or whatever review you think it's worth on Google, and it might be which trusted trader that you want them leaving it on. If you could leave it on these two, right? I tell you what I'll do. If you leave it on them 2 platforms within the next 24 hours, right? I'll knock you X amount off your final invoice. Why don't you try that one? And you'll be surprised about the amount of people that go, oh, really? Even if it's 20 quid. The amount of people that will do that. And you'll get more reviews incentivizing someone to do that. Remember, you can't pay people. That goes against Google's reviews policy. But we can incentivize them surely somewhere along the lines and put a sense of time on it so it's urgent. If you leave it me within 24 hours, this is what I'll do for you. It could be, let's go back to the plumbing and heating. It could be, listen, if you can leave me a 5-star review within the next 24 hours, your next boiler service, I'll do it here at half price. And if you've got to knock 50 quid off, I'm telling you now, that review is worth 50 quid. Because if you can start building up them reviews, which is going to help with your Google SEO and your authority and people's decision-making process on who they're going to choose, I'm telling you now, 30, 40, 50 quid for a 5-star review is nothing. And even better than that, could we get video testimonial from them, right? Can we get them on camera just explaining what their problem was before they started working with you? What have you done to solve their problem? And what would you say to anyone that's thinking about a new, whatever your product or service is? What would you say to people? What we can then do is not only get a 5-star review from that customer, But if we can get video testimonial from them, even better. Even better. Because video testimonials is turning your customers into a happy sales team so you don't have to sell your product or service. If you've got 20 video testimonials of happy customers telling the world how amazing you were, the communication was second to none, you were on time, you were on budget, you were clean, you were tidy, they didn't even know that they got you in their home or business, it were that good. If we can get 20 video testimonials of people saying that, you don't have to sell your products or service because your happy customers will sell it for you. Do you get what I mean? So we've got to get either repeat business, referral business, or review business from that happy customer. And when we do that, that finishes the customer journey. In other words, you've taken them through the before stage by generating the lead. You've converted them and you've done the job through the during stage. And now the job's finished in the after stage, we get the repeat, referral, review business. And if you were to follow that as a 4-step strategy, I'm telling you now, you'll generate more leads, you'll convert more, you'll make more profit, and you'll have more happy customers leaving reviews than you ever thought imaginable. And that's the 4-part customer journey that I've implemented into all my businesses. And it's what I teach my inner circle members. And yes, it takes a little bit of time. It can't be done overnight, remember. But the sooner they start it and the more that they put into place, then the quicker the results will come. Now, in this chapter, I just want to cover off and recommend some software that'll allow you to map all of this customer journey out. So you can see each one of them before, during and after stages all mapped out in a sales pipeline in some software. So you can see where at any one of those stages, and remember, let's say you've got 30 stages, 30 steps that you've got to get a customer from lead coming in to getting that 5-star review. If you've got 30 steps, do you not think it makes sense that rather than having that in your head, we have it mapped out in some software that we can use on an app as well? So if you're on the job, on site, you can look at it on your job, where you can see where your customers are or potential customers are in each one of them 30 steps. Do you think that would be helpful? Of course it would. But not only seeing them in them 30 steps and where they are on that customer journey, not only is it going to help you clear that headspace up, because rather than trying to remember or use a diary to remember where you are in that process with your customers, your team get to see it. And again, for some of you, you might have an admin person. They need to be doing a lot of this work for you. So they'll be moving that customer down that pipeline and you can see where they're at any one stage. And all this stops people ringing you going, John, did you send that email to Mrs. Jones? Or Fred, did you get back to Mrs. Jones last week? There's none of that going off because inside the software, you can see all these stages, and every time a customer completes the stage, they get moved to the next stage. And a lot of these movements from stage to stage can be done automatically without you having to move them. And then on top of that, not only have we got all the pipeline laid out for you, but when I talk about triggering automations like automated emails and automated text messages, for example, or having a calendar where we can book on a customer straight into the calendar, whether that be desktop or on an iPad or a smartphone, that then triggers all that automation, all that can be done in software. So everything I've just been talking to you about today, from the leads coming in, helping you convert them leads, helping you with the upsell, downsell, and helping you with the 3 R's can all be automated and built out in some software. So let me give you the 2 pieces of software that I'm going to recommend that you check out. It's up to you what you use. I don't mind what software you use as long as you're doing it. But the 2 pieces of software is this. Number 1 is Leadzilla. Now, Leadzilla, as a piece of software, deals with all of the leads coming in and all the marketing, and it deals with all of the sales. So everything that I've just been talking about now about generating a lead, when that customer comes in through your website, we want them to automatically appear on the pipeline inside Leadzilla as a new lead. If that customer comes through Facebook or maybe a Google or Facebook ad, we want that customer's details to go automatically into Leadzilla on the first part of the pipeline, and then they're in. So anything to do with marketing, conversions, and sales, we do inside a software called Leadzilla. Okay? Now, the second piece of software I'm going to recommend to you is a job management piece of software. Leadzilla takes care of the marketing and sales, but the actual job management, let's say in the during stage of your customer journey, when you're communicating with the customer and you're actually doing the job for them, or you're organising your labour on who's going to what job on what day, all that lot is done through ServiceMate. ServiceMate. And our partner that we've partnered up with ServiceMate is a company called Flow State. Jamie Curtin at Flow State. So if you're interested in getting a free trial to Leadzilla or a free trial to ServiceMate via Jamie at Flow State, all you need to do is click the links in the description and show notes of this episode and go and set up your free trials and just have a play with how Leadzilla and ServiceMate works. Now, just based on those 2 pieces of software, I started off at the beginning of this episode by sharing with you our new groundbreaking platform that we're launching within the next couple of months. And I also said that you're going to get lots of training. So what we're going to do through the Trades Freedom Club is we are going to be giving our members training on how to use Leadzilla and training on how to use ServiceMate. So again, if you want to get that training, you need to be on the waiting list so that you can get the email and the text message with a link to become one of the 100 founding members when we launch within the next couple of months. Again, the link to that you'll find in the description of this episode. So your action tasks on what I'd like you to go away and implement from this episode. And remember, there's no point in just listening to these episodes if you're not going to go away and take action on what you're learning, right? So these are your action tasks. I'm going to set you 5. Action task number 1, I want you to map out that before, during and after stage so you can see how many steps and stages there are in your customer journey, because whatever the amount of steps there is, and let's say there's 20, them 20 steps then will be added into Leadzilla or ServiceMate so that the software can start to manage the customer journey. Number 2, I want you to bolt on just 2 of the new attract strategies that I shared with you from the 20 that I gave you in this episode. So you can't do all 20, but you can bolt 2 on that you feel as though would fit and work in your business. Go and bolt them on now. Number 3, I want you to create your first vetting form that's going to help you with the conversion rate. And I also want you to work out what is your conversion rate or percentage. Remember, if you're winning 4 jobs out of the 10 you've quoted, it's 40%. You need to start to understand that. Number 4, consider packaging things together in 3s. So you've got an upsell and a downsell to the price or the service that you were originally going to offer, so that you've got 3 bites at the cherry to win that business, not 1. Action task number 5, I want you to think about that review strategy and that referral strategy, on what could you use as an incentive to incentivize them to leave you a review or give you a video testimonial or refer you and your business to other people they may know that want your product or service. So there are your 5 action tasks that I want you to crack on with from this episode. And finally, whatever podcast channel you're listening to this on, maybe it's Spotify, maybe it's Apple, maybe it's YouTube, could I please ask you to consider either following or subscribing our podcast episode? Because the more followers we can get, the more subscribers we can get, the more that platform is going to push our episodes out to more tradesmen and women, and the more people that we can help and support along their journeys, the better it is for everybody. So if you can please consider following and subscribing, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to leave you with one of my favourite quotes from Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "You don't have to see the full staircase. All you need to do is take the first step." Catch up with you on next week's episode, and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.